Hey guys, I'm Tony Alden, and today we are going to see how we can test codes that apply to org mode buffer. Specifically, we're going to test the function that we wrote in the last video. So here we are in the org mode buffer, and what the code that we did yesterday does is that it parses that buffer into a list, and in that tree, a list, and we added some the bar property with some random number here, not in the buffer but in the data structure. So this is what we are going to try to test, and the code that we wrote is not big, just that you can see. We are going to look at it after, but right now we are going to apply it. So here we passed it in the mini buffer, and we should get this data structure. So this is great. We are going to put at here side by side the buffer, the org buffer where we applied the code, and the data structure we get with we hope the changes that we wanted, that are to add the property bar. So here we have the first headline with some of the things. So this is a headline, and here we have the property a property list with some information about this headline, like its row value, headline 1, and we should have also the key foo that we have here, the key foo with the value val in headline, and we have the same key for the 5 headline that we have. So we go at the top, and now if we search for bar, we have it too, still in the same property. So this has been added. We are going to see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 5. So this is the thing that we did, and this is what we want to test. So we want to write something that tell us, okay, so with those kind of buffer, you really are adding the property bar to the headlines in that data structure. So let's try to do that. So here is the function. We can look at it. So you can see here we set the variable, the let binding variable tree to org element parse buffer, which return past the org mode buffer past. So then what we do is that we use org element map, this function that we apply to the tree that so the org mode buffer we passed. What we want is to, for every headline in that tree, we apply it that function. Okay, so in that function we could have just do some calculation and recuperate and collect the output, but this is not what we want. What we want is to destructively replace element. We want to modify in place the variable tree, and we render it and we return it at the end. Change. So what we do for each headline, which is here called element, we apply the element org element put property, which add the property bar with the value returned by calling random functions. And this is what we do, and we want to test that. So what does that mean? So to do that, we use here that macro that come from the test suite of org-mod repository. So I just evaluated this one, so we have it. And what does it do? So run body in a temporary buffer with org-mod as the active mode holding task. So the cool thing is that with that macro, we have text. We put it here. Anything we want that should be the content of an org buffer, and we pass it some expression that are the thing that how we want to modify the org buffer, or only we don't have to modify it. We can play with it, and this is what we do here, because we passed it, so we don't modify it, and we want to apply those things. So just an example, so we can here put some text. So headline, so we have one headline, and what we can do, for instance, is to parse org element parse buffer. So we can evaluate this. So what it does is it say, okay, put this thing in an org buffer, and in that same org buffer apply that function, and we return the last expression in here in body. If here we put nil, we will return nil, but we don't put nil, and so we are going to return the parser tree. So we can evaluate it, and we see it at the bottom in the echo area. So we have the buffer passed. The last time we've seen pp eval expression. Now there are also pp eval last expression that will put the output of the last the evaluation of the last expression in the pp buffer. So we do it, and here we have what we want, the result of the parsing of just an org buffer with just one headline called headline upcase. This one. So don't trust me, but it's just that we can do something that we are going to call it bar.org. We passed headline here. We ask to be in org mode, so I am in org mode. We are in org mode right now, and we are going to parse the buffer. So let's do it. We passed it, and we get exactly the same buffer, the same data structures that we had in the if we did it there. So here, if you don't want to go further in the video, you can stop here, and you have the basics of what I wanted to share with you today. Is that when you're working in a buffer, in our org-mod buffer, and you are doing some of the thing, maybe at some point you want to pass to something less interactive, but that you can automate, and you can change it there without having to switch to an org buffer. And what is cool with this kind of things is that you can keep it, and you have a snippet for forever in your note that show you what you was trying to do or not, or maybe also to repair bugs. It's maybe a good way to use that. So we have that. Cool. So now I won't say let's go to write a test, but what we can but yes, yes, we are going to make that test. So here, go back to foo org, and we are going to just take Now, anyway, we are just going to have 2 headlines. This way, we are going to headline 1, 2 star, and 1 star, headline 2. So this is our awk buffer. Now, we want to test this. This is the thing that we want to do, but we are going to give it a name. So add. Okay, we call it parse and add property up. So we put nothing, we don't evaluate, and what we want is to take it here, put it there, because this is the thing that we are going to apply here. If we apply no, we are going to have an error because the function isn't defined, but this is what we want to do so far. So we have an error. Now we are going to def test. So we define the test. So we are going to call it the same. We add test at the end. You can do whatever you want. Should that we want something to be true. So this is the form that we are going to put here. Is what we want to be true. We are going to use equal or no. Okay, cool. See, we have to do something with equal. So we want that something like the result of applying this to be something. This is not the end test that we are going to do, but this is something like this. So now I can put something like we just put nil to have 2 values in the equal form here, and then we are going to. I hope you're still with me. So we write the test, we evaluate, we have that test. Now if you call here t, we have just one test, this one about it, and we see in the bottom that okay, we have an error. This is how we want to work. We start with some errors, and we go to the green light. So parse add property isn't defined, so we can define it, we evaluate it. ERT another time, we have it. Now the test failed, we can go here and we see how it fails. So we have something, we have a string equal to nil. So this is what we did here. The last expression is an empty string. So when we run it there, we return an empty string. Okay, this is not what we want to do. What we want is, so let's do something else before we are going to parse the tree, put the tree here, we evaluate, we rerun the test, an error, and here we see all the trees that have been that had been parsed. So this is great. We are in the good in the how to say, in the good road. I don't know, in the good path toward a test that tests this, and that we can trust. So let me think 1 second. Okay, so here we can go back to the ERT. We see that when we applied the function pass at property, as we so far we are returning the buffer passed. This is what we get, a pass tree. This tree can be passed to this function org element map. Okay, so this is what we are going to do right now. So maybe we can do org element map. We pass it that tree, and maybe the type will be the id line. Okay, we are going to get the id line, and in the same way as below, we are going to lambda. So we apply. We have an id line, and what we want to do is to org element property. So this function, we give it a property and it return something. So let's call it, okay, let's call it foo on the element. Here in the, we just modify here to say, okay, so begin at, I don't remember, foo. Okay, so here we just add this one to just to test a little bit what we are doing. So I just modify the buffer where we are doing the thing. Here is the function that we want to test, but as it will return a big tree. We are not going to test everything in the tree, but just the properties that we want to add in the tree. So now what we do is that we map on the id lines, and we want to recuperate the property foo. Still, we are doing we are asking to be equal to nil, which won't be the case. And if we evaluate, because we change the test, ERT, we pass it, and now we can go there. And what do we have? Okay, so fine. You see here we have val in headline 1. So, but this is not equal to nil, because what we did is to pass the buffer, apply it something to the headline, and recuperate the foo property. So now, as we are here, what we want, so we want to test that we've added some bar value. Okay, so now okay, so I'm still here. Let's go back to ERT. We have a value, this is the id line. Okay, so what we are going to test, okay, so we are going to test that the list that we get here, okay, so the list that we get here, we take the length, okay, so we take the length of that list. So that list is, you see here, as we have just one headline, we have recuperated just one element. We can go back here, maybe that you see what I'm saying. So we're going to add this one, and we still go to this. We change for 2. We evaluate the test ERT. We do that. Pass add properties, so the same. And the length, okay, so I've already changed to the length, so we have the length equal to 2, but I will just a moment remove the length and show you another time. ERT, we pass the test, and we have we recuperate a list here of the value of the property foo on the headline. So what we are going to do, as we are going to add a random number to the property bar, what we can test is that do we have two property bar added to this arg buffer. Okay, so this is the thing that we can do. So this is why I proposed to take the length, so the length here, and we want the length to be equal to 2. So now we evaluate, we rerun, another error. No, it's true. Why? Ah yes, okay, it's true because we are doing it on foo, and here we have two foo. So if I remove one here, I evaluate, and right now it won't be this. So here you see we have 1 equal to 2. That is not what we want. So I hope you are still with me. Next, we're almost done now because the test is almost ready. So normally this is something that I do first, this is something that I do first before writing the function. So now we evaluate that function. This should add some bar here. Here we change. We remove this one because we don't need it right now. It's not a complete test. It's just to clean a bit the screen. So we evaluate, we rerun ERT this test, and what we add is 0, 2. Okay, so why 0? Because that means that when we map on the headline, here, this function return nothing. So this is normal because we are looking for property foo, and what we should look for is property bar, because we hope that this function is adding to the tree the property random number to property bar to our two headlines. So we evaluate, we run ERT, and now it passed. So we can see the test and we have it there. And with that done, we are done for today. This is the final result. This is how we can test command or function that is intended to be used in org mode. And you can see this is really not a big. This is not too much code to have our code tested. So I hope you enjoy the ride. See you next time. Have a great day and a great life. That's it. We are done.